Powerful blasts and gunfire rock Afghan capital Kabul. Afghanistan's defense minister says he is safe after explosion near his home, but continuing gunfire reported in Kabul. Powerful blasts followed by sporadic gunfire hit Afghanistan's capital Kabul on Tuesday near the city's heavily fortified green zone, an area home to government buildings and foreign embassies, officials said. A senior security official said the first blast, which struck just after 8 p.m. local time, 15:30 GMT, appeared to have been caused by a car bomb, and the target was the acting defense minister's home and the adjoining residence of a member of parliament. After Tuesday's bomb attack, acting defense minister Bismillah Mohammadi said no harm was caused to him and his family members, but some of the security guards were injured. Interior Ministry spokesman Mir Stanikzai said gunmen entered the area after the first explosion. Stanikzai said 3 attackers were killed by security personnel and a cleanup operation was being conducted by police. All roads leading to the minister's house and guest house were closed, he added. Less than 2 hours after the car bomb detonated, another loud blast followed by rapid gunfire again shook Kabul, in what appeared to be the same area of the city. Hundreds of residents in the area were moved to safety, said Firdaus Faramart, spokesman for the Kabul police chief. He said security personnel were searching house to house should more attackers be hiding in the area. At least 10 people were wounded and were taken to hospitals in the capital, Dasgur Nazari, health ministry spokesman, said. The city's emergency hospital said in a tweet it had so far received 6 people wounded in the first attack. No group immediately claimed responsibility. The attack, in the heart of one of Kabul's most secure areas, came during an escalation in violence by the Taliban. Attacks have risen sharply since President Joe Biden announced U.S. troops would leave by September, even as the Taliban intensified its attacks on major cities. The center of Kabul has what's known as a ring of steel. There are also all sorts of checkpoints. There is a checkpoint near the scene of the explosion. The United States said on Tuesday that the explosion bears the hallmarks of the Taliban and that one of Washington's many concerns about Afghanistan was that it could spiral into civil war. State Department spokesman Ned Price said if the Taliban seeks to contravene its engagement in peace talks in Doha, they will be an international pariah, and the concern on the part of all of us, one of many concerns, is that the result will be civil war. The first blast came at a time when families and youth were gathering at local eateries and cafes. In one restaurant, patrons could be seen escaping through windows, leaving behind tables full of shishas, backgammon tables and uneaten food. The main roads of the city's commercial hub, Sharinwal, were full of vehicles as people tried to flee the area. Usually crowded, businesses were either abandoned or left with only a handful of patrons. Minutes after the blast, hundreds of civilians in Kabul came out onto the streets and chanted God is greatest to express their support for Afghan government forces in opposition to the Taliban. Al Jazeera's base said Defense Minister Mohammadi, the apparent target of the attack in Kabul on Tuesday, had only recently assumed his post and that he was a veteran commander and a former Army Chief of Staff. His time as a commander goes way back before the last 20 years when international forces arrived in Afghanistan. He was a commander with Ahmad Shah Massoud fighting the Taliban in the 1990s, and before that, he was a Mujahideen commander fighting the Soviet Union. Clashes between Afghan forces and the Taliban have intensified across the country since early May, with the Taliban capitalizing on the final stages of the withdrawal of the US-led foreign forces after almost 20 years in the country. The Taliban has gained control over checkpoints, trading posts and infrastructure projects. Afghan forces on Tuesday appealed to residents of the southern city of Lashkar to leave their homes and stay away from areas where the Taliban were taking control, as they intend to launch operations against the group where its fighters were traveling freely. The loss of Lashkar would be a huge strategic defeat for the government, which has pledged to defend strategic centers after losing much of the rural parts to the Taliban in recent months.